And why fire Justin? Why fire Justin?
Hey, you said fire. The thing says he's leaving.
Yeah, he moved on.
Okay. And we don't know that either.
It's a new chapter.
And it says from CrossFit, so he's not even doing
He's leaving via someone else's choice.
Okay, so what you're suggesting also is they said to him, "Hey, Justin, we're going to give you a demotion," and he said, "Eat a dick," and they said, "Okay, here's your severance." Bye.
I know
he didn't want to take a lesser role.
But yeah.
Okay.
I also think you had to get rid of him because if you were going to ladder Dave back into his position at the top, there's no way. I mean, you just said it. They're going to be jockeying for position. It's going to become extremely political. Alliances will be taken and they won't accomplish anything. So I think the only path to really do that is rip the Band-Aid off and have it be done and now just put Dave in place.
Justin V, does this make Castro Adrian's boss? I would say, I assume yes.
I think Sevan
like
said
good old days.
It's his daddy.
It's his dad.
Yeah. Ryan Tate, Andrew Tate's stepbrother, a $5 to help fund Sevan's campaign trail, make media Sevan again. Well, thank you. That's very interesting. What is this? Coffee pods and wads, Pedro, the biggest thing in Europe that CrossFit has, holding down media on all other continents besides the important one, North America. Pedro says he's right. I'm tired of debacles. I want
debacle season.
That must be a European word.
That's fantastic.
Joel Kelly, Dave is fucking alpha. Yeah, there's no doubt, and he does it without talking. So, Sevan, would you go back to CrossFit if asked? Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was waiting for a not to follow that. Absolutely. And then it never came.
Sevan, are you going back as media director now? No, not even when. No, I don't think he has that. I don't think he has that authority. Sevan, are you excited for the games now? What I really want to do is I want to talk to Dave. I've been bugging him and I can't get a hold of him this morning for obvious reasons.
We got a couple ideas.
I do have a few ideas. And Sevan, are you excited for the games now? Yeah, I'm crazy excited. I'm crazy excited. Does anyone think this is going to affect the programming? Or we're going to keep going down the Adrian Bosman pathway?
I would like to think that Dave lets Adrian go and make his mistakes on his own and learn from it, but we'll see.
I'd be curious to find out how much they were talking ahead of time before this, Dave and Boz, and if there was any continuity between like logistics that need to be handled, maybe some holes that Dave might have seen that wasn't originally brought up in the programming. So that way there's just more like cohesion as far as like logistically how it rolls out, how they're going to handle scoring issues and the inevitable problems that are going to happen across each event. Because if you look at it, I didn't see like there was obviously a change in the programming, but it seemed like their biggest struggle was like logistics, getting their shit together, making the rules, holding a standard. And so I think that Boz will actually excel in that environment when you have somebody like Dave, who's like, here's what we're doing. This is the course we're taking, and we're not going to budge from this.
Andrew Hiller plugging the Dave Castro extra virgin olive oil, which will be available online soon.
First sold bottle. It's a limited edition.
Question.
Sponsor of the show. Official.
That is the first sold bottle, by the way. That is true. That is the very first. Andrew Hiller did buy the very first bottle of Dave's new olive oil brand.
Can't have it. It's not for sale. It's gonna sit right there, like your Ariel Lowen card.
eBay. Go ahead, Tyler.
What do we think Justin is responsible for? Because we can pontificate all day on what Dave is going to do, but if he's replacing Justin, what were Justin's responsibilities, and then what did he end up doing that we didn't like?
I think his overall response. I think that was the problem. I think we didn't know whether Adrian or Justin was responsible. But in an ideal world, Justin would have been the new Dave and completely in charge of the operation, and the people who would have reported to him for the operation would have been media and programming, and they weren't reporting to him. And so I think his job had fallen more into the fact of sponsorship, right?
The fact that we don't know exactly what he was doing proves that he was not a good in charge of the sport, director of sport.
In his defense, he was set up to fail. I don't think that those people were put into I don't think Adrian was said, hey, you report to fucking Justin. I think it's like, hey, this is going to be a collaboration. I can't wait to. Dave is not like that type of guy. He's not hey, I'm the collaboration guy. He takes a shitload of advice. He has lots of meetings where you sit down and anyone can express their opinion. But at the end of the day, it's the buck's going to stop with Dave, and the decisions are going to be made by Dave.
You think Rich gets kicked out of the semifinals if Dave is the director?
No.
It's like stuff like that.
Hey, or if he does, Dave gets on and he's like, yeah, I kicked that pretentious bitch out. Or he says one or the other. I don't think he gets kicked out, but if he does, Dave speaks to it. Yeah, I kicked him out. Who the fuck does he think he is? He's last week's news. And we all go, oh,
Yeah, well, at least that was the best part about Dave. It's like, whether you liked it or not, he was going to stand in front of the firing squad and give his answer, and then he was going to hold to it and move on. It wasn't so ambiguous. Like, his answers weren't ambiguous and stuff. You were like, he made the decision and he's sticking by the consequence, good or bad.
As painful it is for me to say, the best interview ever done with Don Fall was with Pedro, Coffee Pods and Wads. I can't stand how he lets people talk so much, but he does. And he got a great interview by letting Don talk. And he says, listen to this. This is from Pedro in the chat. He says, when Don was on Coffee Pods and Wads podcast, it was clear he felt people were hiding things from him. This is the result of that, surely. Yeah. They, like I said, well, that's good to hear. That is in line with, they have a massive communication breakdown there. Massive. They have crazy inside fighting there. Crazy. And that won't happen with Dave there. Everyone, the masses statement? Will huddle and be like, it's us against Dave in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Has Don made a statement about it yet?
True.
If he has, it's on that shit rag morning chalk up or maybe Clydesdale. Now, guys, I want you to listen to this very clearly. What I'm about to read.
Listening.
Listen very clearly. This is not a statement that this person wrote lightly. This is 100% Berkshire decision. You have to know this though, Tyler. The board knows Dave.
They might.
The board knows Dave. This is 100% Berkshire decision. If the games don't work, they don't get their money back. Dave seems like the only one who can fix the games. There are two people. There's at least two people on the board who are intimate with Dave, I think. And there may be some real truth to that. Why are you shaking your head, Tyler? You think at the end of the they wouldn't do that? The board wouldn't circumcise Don Fall? I don't think that's the right word. I don't think that's the right word.
Yeah, that's the right word. Well, that one's it. I would hope not. And if the board is that involved, that's worrisome as well.
Well, don't you think that they're in that situation? That they're in a.
Why would they not be involved?
I mean, they're always going to keep tabs, but I'm going to let the CEO do his job. And if the board is reaching that far down into the system, that's a problem. That means we're in a lot hotter water than we thought we were.
Right. Meaning that they're, right.
Like they're running out of money and they're like, fuck, we have to have, we need to come in almost on like day-to-day operation status just to make sure that this thing doesn't sink completely.
I don't think we're that far. Down.
So you think it's out of desperation?
No, I think that Don's pulling the trigger and he's like, no, you're out. You're done. I don't think this is the board's decision. I think this is Don.
I want to say one more thing too, because some people are going to be like, this is moving backward. This is not moving backward, by the way. This is moving backward like you were you had a cocaine habit and then you quit and you moved back to like not doing cocaine. If you think that's moving backwards, then this is moving backwards. Having a guy who fucking started the games, ran it to fucking incredible success from a fucking podunk sport in the backyard to a fucking international event, former SEAL Team 6 operative, crazy passionate, crazy alpha, extremely articulate and also very able to be very quiet. Who also ran the training team, who does run the training team. I guess that's a whole subject we should talk about. How the fuck is that going to work? How's he going to run both? I mean, he used to, but he had Nicole Carroll as a co-runner, co-lead. This is not, in my opinion, there's no step backwards here. This is like,
this is the first.
We put diesel in we put gas in the diesel tank, and this is now putting diesel back in it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I felt like we were on this.
Oh, it's a bad analogy. You can't use that engine anymore.
Oh, sorry. Oh, fuck.
No, the thing that I was thinking was that we had been at sea with no wind for a year, and then all of a sudden, like hurricane winds are blowing. Like that's what it felt like to me.
You guys and your analogies, I get it, but
here, you think it's a step backwards to put Dave back in? Mr. Hiller?
No. I'm just hating on the analogies.
Okay, fine.
But they're good. But they're good. I like what they're talking
Tammy, this is interesting here. I think we're cutting Adrian too much slack. Decisions like the sled and semifinals had to be his. That may be true, but those are also the things that Dave would have been like, okay, let's test this 50 times. And then Dave would have come on afterwards and been like, hey, those were a complete fuck up, or hey, suck it up.
And see, that was my point with the lane 8 situation, is that I think what's going on is that Berg and Bosman their lines had been crossed. It wasn't clearly Bosman, this is my playpen and that's your playpen. It was crossing over, and then it was no one's responsibility, and then things got out of control. And I think we're having clearly defined lines. What you were saying before, Sevan, well-defined roles. And I don't think that they were well-defined before.
Mm-hmm.